Hello world, it's Dr. Keith, your VR doctor, back again on day 12 of my exploration of consulting in VR and augmented reality. And today I'm here with Alexa and Google Home. Why? Because I'm going to be talking about virtual assistants. What can virtual assistants do for the patient, the doctor, and healthcare in general in VR? So I've already mentioned virtual assistants, and you may not know what a virtual assistant is. You may not even know what Amazon Alexa or Google Home are just now. So what is a virtual assistant? Well, a virtual assistant is a software agent that performs tasks or provides services to a human user, commonly through a voice interface, but not just exactly or only through a voice interface. It can be other voice interfaces, chat interfaces, text interfaces, and the like. They've been around for a little while, but they've come to prominence recently because of products such as Amazon Alexa. This is an Amazon Dash here just now. It's a small version, and I'll put it here on the desktop. Or we also have Google Home, which is Google's foray in this area. They also have Apple's Siri, which is on your iPhones and increasingly on home devices, and Cortana, which is on the Windows. And there's other ones too. There's Samsung's Bixby, and I'm sure we're going to see multiple different voice interfaces as time goes on. And what do these things do? Well, they help us with our day-to-day life, and they can also provide information. And it's that function, the helping us with our day-to-day life and providing information, that I think will have an important role to play in the real reality, but virtual and augmented reality for patients, for doctors, and for healthcare as a whole. So let's start with patients. Now, you're already able to use Amazon Alexa and Google Home to help healthcare. You can ask questions, for example. So we're going to play with Amazon. We'll leave Amazon over here, and we're going to play with Google Home right now. So I'm going to try and speak and get Google Home to answer some questions, but I have to cover my mouth because, of course, it's in the outside world and it will make me speak. So let's try for a minute. So I'm a patient and I want to know about hypertension, high blood pressure. So I say, okay, Google, what is hypertension?
Hypertension, abnormally high blood pressure.
Well, that was simple, wasn't it? So how about we find out a little bit more? Okay, Google, what is a normal blood pressure?
On the website bloodpressure.org, they say more than 120 over 80 and less than 140 over 90, 120 80ths to 140 90ths. You have a normal blood pressure reading, but it is a little higher than it should be.
Okay, Google, that's enough. Okay, so we find some more information in there as well, and this is useful to patients. Of course, you can use the diary function to remind you about when you've got to go to the doctors or when you have to attend other appointments. And you can even use skills on Amazon Alexa and also on Google to help remind you when to take your medication as well and act as a communication system. We're also increasingly seeing these devices as virtual assistants to help with people's smart homes. So turning on lights, turning on heating, opening doors, that kind of thing. And these are very, very useful devices to have. I've got both actually that's useful to explore with. So what about for clinicians? What about doctors? Well, one of the problems with these is that they have always on microphones. So right now, security is a little bit of an issue. But I have been trying to use them in my practice, and I've been building some skills. You might have heard one last time, which is helping me mock up what it might like to have a clerical assistant. And a clerical assistant, when I'm with a patient, doctors in the UK and the US and around the world spend a lot of time entering information onto their computer, and it takes them away from the patient. By using virtual assistants, they could act as a scribe, taking the notes down, being able to order investigations, order tests, provide information to the patients, or even record the consultation on the audio and send it securely to the patient as well. But I might use it when I'm in virtual reality because, as it stands, these hands, beautiful as though they are not very helpful when you're trying to type. So how would you do this? Well, maybe I'd be looking at a blood result and I'd say, that person's got a high potassium level, which is a salt in the blood. So, but I've forgotten what the reference range is. So I might be able to call up and say, okay, Google, what is the normal potassium range?
On the website emedicinehealth.com, they say the normal potassium level in the blood is 3.5 to 5.0 milliequivalents per litre.
Thank you, Google. Okay, Google, enough. Ha! There you go. So quite useful there as well, providing information to me. So we have these these devices here, and these devices are being represented by objects here, but of course they can be represented in any ways. One of the things that I wonder is whether we might want to see these virtual assistants helping us by adopting a human form, maybe an avatar like this, or maybe an avatar slightly creepily like this one here, which I created in Medium. And this is a mocked up one. Actually, the more I look at this, the kind of creepier it looks. I'm sorry about that. And he's got a little VR headset, but he's here to represent the fact that a device needn't look like one of the real world devices in virtual reality. And if it were animated and looked more like me, I think you'd find that quite an interesting way to interact with a virtual assistant. Now, within virtual reality, what would this virtual assistant do if you could see them? Well, having a personification of a virtual assistant might make it feel more like an equal participant in this. So if I was consulting with a patient here and that patient's virtual assistant came in, maybe I would see their virtual assistant to their preferences. And that virtual assistant could assist the patient by providing information. For example, the patient may not remember all of their blood pressure tests from home monitoring. The virtual assistant could pull this up. The virtual assistant could pull up their medication records. It could act as an assistant for them when a human maybe isn't available. And it would also be a way that I could interact with the patient and transfer the information about what I believe they should be doing next and take it home to them. So, personified virtual assistants might have a really important role within virtual reality and augmented reality. And you've already heard a little bit of stilted discussion there from Google Home. But of course, it's going to be personalities that drive this. Humans relate to personalities. And so who might use this? How can we maybe develop this? Well, there is a company that I saw called Spirit AI with Steve Andre as one of their founders, and he spoke at Giant in London last week. And at that event, he gave a really compelling argument for the use of a character engine, technology that they use, and I'll bring it up on the screen here in the background. Whoop, there we go. If I move this out of the way, you can see it in the background there. So they use something called a character engine. It's a software platform that allows people to very easily build up a conversational interface that feels like a real human. Now, they're currently looking mostly at characters in games and beyond. But at the conference, he was talking about healthcare interfaces. You have Sensely, another healthcare virtual assistant that puts a character called Molly in front of a triaging system that people can use within the NHS, and it's an app that you can download. Personality is the key. Personality, I think, is what's going to make a virtual space or these technologies more acceptable to patients. So if you want to find out more about Spirit AI, I'll put the link down here in a moment. And also, I'd like to, I just take this down for a moment, show you around this wonderful picture, which I chose because it is a slate factory in Llanberis. A man called Kev Lewis provided this, and we're permitted to show it with attribution. So down here will be his details. But enough of this. If you want to find out more about me and what I'm doing, visit www.drgrimes.co.uk, or you can follow me on Twitter at @TheVRDoctor. Or finally, please do join VR Doctors group on Facebook. We've had a lovely rush of people coming to join us, and we're over the 400 member mark now. I'd love you to join and discuss this with me. So for now, it's goodbye from this Slate Museum, where I'm spending some time with the machinery of the past, but also maybe looking at some of the machinery of the future. So until next time, take care out there.